You know you've reached a certain level of success when you're known across the industry. And of course, bigger YouTubers who become comic creators are bothered that you even exist. This is where we're at with the channel now. I mean, we've really grown a lot over the last year, and I have you guys to thank for it. It's been a beautiful community. And honestly, we have a great comic loving community. In our Discord, we have a lot of good comic talk. We have a weekly comic club where we all get together and do a read together. And of course, many of us are creators in this space, and I appreciate all you guys who are coming up also. And I appreciate everybody who's been supporting the books. I just did the math, and Flying Sparks Volume 1 by itself, just with our indie efforts here, have sold more than 3,000 copies since it first came out. So thanks, guys. You've really made us a tremendous success in ways that most of the mainstream industry will never, ever find. This is wonderful stuff, and you're keeping us afloat. I appreciate it. But what happened yesterday was I joined the Cartoonist Kayfabe group. Now, Cartoonist Kayfabe is a very large YouTube channel. I've watched them a lot over the years. They did a beautiful biopic on Steve Ditko, which actually came out of this book right here. The Ditko Unleashed collection. They ran a lot of the information from this collection, which is actually kind of hard to find now. So I was really enjoying their content for a long time, but they've also done a lot to virtue signal to the main industry over the years. They canceled one of their own book covers for their Red Room comic. They've been rude to a creator named Dan Fraga, who's one of the nicest guys out there. I guess Fraga actually even tried to squash the beef at a Comic-Con, and they would have none of it because they just have to disassociate from anybody who, is doing independent things without the mainstream media's, cooperation or permission. So it's no surprise, but they banned me from their comic book group. All I did was actually make a post introducing myself. I actually showed off some of my collection wall. You can see some of it behind me. I've got all the EC comics back here. I've got Berserk and stuff down below. And I was just showing off the fact that I love my Star Trek comics, which of course we know I do if you watch the channel at all. So I said hi. I said I'm a comic creator. I said these guys have been very inspiring to me, both as a YouTube channel and in my creative work, because it's true. I mean, these Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg do indie comics themselves, and they are lovers of classic comics. I thought we'd all be able to share this space, but they can't, and it's all because of politics at the end of the day. They know that I am a person who the mainstream doesn't like because I criticize certain elements of what goes on there. And of course, the mainstream is so hyper political at this point. They're just absolutely disgusting as people, and this is no different here. So here's what happened. I posted my introduction. I just said who I was. I posted a couple pictures of my collection, and I got a bunch of comments down below saying, hey, welcome. It's nice to have you here. And of course, people loved seeing my omnibus collection because I have a very nice collection of old comics. I love them as it shows. I didn't violate any rules. I'm going to go over the rules of their group right now to show you that they're actually in violation of their own rules. And then boom, I was poof. I was out of there, and the Facebook group cannot be found anymore. This is their Cartoonist Kayfabe Ringside group. So here is my posting about it. I tried to bring it to their attention. I joined a group by Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg, was banned literally for introducing myself. Remember, these guys pretend to be, quote, independent creators who love comics, but they work for the machine, and they hate real independent competition. This is what it comes down to at the end of the day. They don't want to know people to know that there is an alternative out there to what's going on with mainstream stuff. They're still trying to really just get in with the mainstream. If you look at Ed Piskor, he's been drawing these like homage comics, for called Grand Design, where he basically just redoes some of Jack Kirby's stories. It's this is what they like to do, I guess. This is what gets you clout in the industry. Scared of actual comics, and this is my new brand of comics I just launched the other day. If you aren't aware of the inside joke, well, I'll explain it at the end of the video. But here it is. I put up their rules here, and here's their group rules that they talked about. Okay, in case was I in violation of any of them? Absolutely not. And this is what we'll find right here. So number one, no bullying. Oh gosh, no racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, or any form of discrimination or hate speech. Well, I know what that means. It just means nobody who's a Republican is allowed at this juncture. This is what they say. Hate speech is just normal speech that they disagree with at this point. But when you're bullying somebody, if you're not allowing any form of discrimination, you shouldn't discriminate against me for being a Christian and a Republican openly. That's what they did. But they don't mean that. They mean you can't discriminate against certain people. You can and should discriminate against other people. This is where their whole like ideology breaks down, because they're just so inconsistent and everything. So I am being discriminated against. They are violating their own rules here. No politics. Well, I'm banned just because of politics. I didn't post anything other than comics on topic. So, gosh, violating rule number 2 already. Promote, but don't spam. I actually didn't promote anything, so this doesn't apply here. No gatekeeping. Oh gosh, if you think Liefeld sucks, you better have an insightful reasoning to back it up. Don't hate just to hate. If you don't like something, you don't have to respond. Well, they just gatekept me out of their group just because I guess they don't like me. I've never talked with them in my lives. I actually enjoyed the X-Men grand design, so I don't know where this even comes from whatsoever. So this is them hating and then doing something. It is gatekeeping out of a comic book community just for the sake of it. How to cut promos. How to cut promos. This is going on somebody else's thread and being like, "Hey guy, you're doing a lousy job. You should check out my work." Is kind of a sly way indie people promote sometimes. I was not doing that in the group, and it doesn't apply. Double post didn't happen here. And then 7, don't be a dick. So I can't think of anything of more than a dick move than just banning somebody for who they are and just for posting and saying hi in a group. So that is about as dickish as it gets. So Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg are in violation of 1, 2, 3, 4 out of their 7 rules of their group just by doing what they did to me. Now, I hope this is just an oversight. I hope that some rogue moderator was just rude to me, and Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg will actually right the ship and do what's right here. Cartoonist Kayfabe shouldn't be a political sort of climate sort of thing. You'd think as independent creators who love comics, they'd love people like myself who have a deep, deep knowledge of classic comics beyond what a lot of people do, and be interested in discussing with somebody like me. You would hope that that's the case, but unfortunately, I don't think they will do anything about this. They'll probably not even respond, and it's very, very sad to watch Cartoonist Kayfabe become another mainstream media shill, trying to hurt independent creators like myself and make it so I can't be in a space discussing comics just because they're scared that I'm better competition than them. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. No, we're not going to end the video yet. I told you I was going to tell you what I'm doing with actual comics. All right, guys, so I launched a brand over the weekend called Actual Comics, and this is all because Heather Antos was saying she was making actual comics to try to diminish what I'm doing, saying I'm not making actual comics, right? She's trying to say that my Flying Sparks right here is like not a real comic. I can hold it in my hand, Heather. It's right here, and people are loving it. I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this has been selling very, very well. So I made my brand Actual Comics now, and this is what I'm going to make all of my comics under. I've been using Rizlandia Books in the past, which is more for my novels. It's based on my steampunk series. So I figured I'd make a comic brand, and here's what we got. I've got a shop, of course, where you can get the merch if you guys want, but this is really where we're trying to change things and really move the comic industry. I'm doing a Subscribestar. Now, I've been banned from Patreon because I got mass reported on there. So Subscribestar is like a Patreon alternative that allows free speech. And on here, I'm actually using the funds here to pay for art to make more comics. My goal at the end of the day is going to be to make a monthly comic and just post it up on here. I'd love to be able to do that without having to run crowd funds and all that, because it's like the amount of time I spend packing and shipping books just detracts from writing. And if I want to be a person who's like crushing the mainstream, I have to come out with monthly books like they do. I totally have the capability to do so. I have the infrastructure in place. I've got the artists. We can do it, but we need your support. And so here it is. Subscribestar is the best way to do this. I'll upload my comics as they come out. The more people we get on here, the more we'll be able to do. And we just need 10 times the amount going here. We've got 11,000 YouTube subscribers. So if all of you jump on board, we could buy all the top tier artists and just be absolutely just dominating everybody else out there. But let's start small. We just need 300 people to get on here, and I can produce a monthly comic on that budget. So right now, as a sign of good faith, I'm putting up short comics. I'm putting up comic strips that we're going to be doing weekly with one of my artists, The Quaff, who's a good friend. And we're just going to be putting what we can as we build this movement. And as the comics come out, I've got one called Extra Sensory, where we're probably going to drop like 2 or 3 pages a month. That's what it can afford right now. And then, of course, as those build, we'll be doing more pages a month. And that's just how we'll go in the time being. So this way, you can actually literally build a comic business from the ground up and create actual comics with your support. And I appreciate you for doing so. So this Subscribestar's in the description below. Help us do this, guys. Let's do it and show that these people in the mainstream cannot silence us. They cannot keep us out of comics. They can't gatekeep us. This is the way. All right. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I'll put that link in the description along with the merch link and along with everything else. You guys are the best fan base out there. You guys are the best friends out there, and you're the best comic readers out there, because as much as they try to gaslight us, we know what we're talking about when it comes to quality comics. Thank you.